Hi guys, this is gsm1.com and I'm here with the Nothing Phone 1. Finally we have it with its beautiful Glyph interface, and the moment everybody's been waiting for is getting to see this interface light up. So the handset we're dealing with here is special. It's a project courtesy of Carl Pei, who was the OnePlus founder, and then he made this new startup called Nothing. First they launched a pair of headphones and then a phone, and then we have another pair of headphones here. So aside from the Nothing Phone 1, we have the Nothing Ear Stick, a lipstick shaped pair of headphones, or at least the container is lipstick shaped. The headphones themselves keep to the same aesthetics, which involve transparency and a sci-fi look. We'll focus on these in the second part of this video. For now, I can only praise their design and go further towards the handset. Okay, so Nothing Phone 1, it's been announced back in July, and it's only now that we got to handle it, play with it, use it for a few days. This handset comes with two 50-megapixel cameras, a build which resembles the iPhone quite a bit, but also tries something different with the transparency of the backside and the Glyph LED-based interface. It has a Snapdragon 778 Plus CPU inside, and I think it's time to quickly analyze it. This is not going to be the run-of-the-mill review, rather a presentation and a preview after a few days of usage. First of all, the design. The facade has medium-sized bezel, and when I say medium, I mean the thickness. They're not the slimmest in the world, but also they don't bother me. We have Gorilla Glass 5 protection at the front, Gorilla Glass 5 protection at the back side, and the transparency reveals the charging coil as well as these LEDs here, which are shaped like the handset's brand. Now, we also have an aluminum frame here. The measurements are 8.3 millimeters in thickness, and the weight is 193.5 grams. It's quite well built. It's very flat all around, flat screen, flat sides, helping with the grip. There's also IP53 certification, and the colors are black and white. This certification means that the device is splash and water and dust resistant. It does draw a few fingerprints at the back side, but the problem is that the camera area draws quite a bit of lint around it. Anyway, I'm happy with the build we have here, and obviously I'm going to play with the Glyph interface just a bit for you so you can see what the fuss is all about. So if you go here, for example, the ringtones, they will react depending on the ringtone you selected. So if you have this one, for example, there are 4 elements which will light up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one should put them to work. So there's actually 10 of them, so you can pick and choose. An interesting feature here is that when you activate Hey Google, what's the weather like? You can see the level of my voice indicated by the bottom LED. Also, when you're charging the phone, this one goes up as the device charges. And there are many other things which you can discover about the whole Glyph interface. I'm fascinated by it like a small child. I keep playing with it. We also have notification sounds. We have the charging meter, Google Assistant. Flip to Glyph, you turn the phone like this. Notifications will light up the back side. Speaking of lighting up the back side, I actually love this feature. So when you're recording a video, there will be a light here shining, the red light. So there goes the people who will record someone and not tell him or her, which is a good thing. We're done with the whole Glyph thing. It may be a gimmick, but I'm actually enjoying it, and I think it's time we talked about the screen. The panel we have here is an OLED 6.55 inches. I would say it's a pretty sweet spot because I can easily reach every part of the screen with one hand. It's a Full HD plus resolution, 120 Hz refresh rate, and at the same time we also have HDR10 plus support. We measured a level of 600 lux units, which is quite bright, and it's a solid all-rounder color-wise. Now the CPU inside the phone, I previously mentioned it. You can see it in this app. It's the Qualcomm Snapdragon 778G Plus 6 nanometer octa-core, and it's accompanied by 8 gigs of RAM in the version we have here and 256 gigabytes of storage, UFS 3.1. There's no microSD card slot here, just in case you're wondering, and if you want comparisons with other phones which have a similar CPU, 2 of them come to mind. There actually aren't that many. So Motorola Edge 30 and Honor 70 are those, and this is the score we achieved in Geekbench 5. I mean, it's not bad. I would say it's inferior in the single core test compared to the Motorola, but it beats it in the multi-core test. It also beats the Honor in the single core test, and I would say it also defeats it in the multi-core one, so overall not a bad result. If you're curious, we should also have Antutu here, 588,000 points. Just so you know, the Motorola Edge 30 was at 574,000 and the Honor 70, 558,000, so I would say we're doing fine. We have a lot of other tests here. There's also no trace of heatings here, so even if you play a game, charge the phone or do benchmarks, I didn't notice any trace of overheating. When it comes to the battery, this handset provides you with a 4500 mAh unit which charges at 33 watts. Via wire, we don't have a bundle charger sadly. There's also a 15 watt wireless charging and also reverse wireless charging at 5 watts. I only did one test here involving the continuous usage, and I went here and let's see what we achieved. So this is PC Mark, 12 hours and 12 minutes. I've seen better, but I've also seen worse. The Motorola Edge 30 with a similar CPU has only 9 hours, but the Honor 70 13 hours and change. Going further, we have stereo speakers here, so there is this one at the bottom, and since I don't see anyone at the top, it's probably the earpiece here. There's no audio jack. On the side of connectivity, this handset provides you with Wi-Fi 6, 5G, Bluetooth 5.2, GPS, NFC, and a USB-C 2.0 port at the bottom. For security, we have an embedded fingerprint scanner in the screen right here, which is pretty snappy when unlocking the device. Now, it's time to discuss the cameras. I'm going to use a white background again. This pretty discreet punch hole hosts a 16 megapixel camera. While the backside is pretty simple, there are two 50 megapixel sensors here, one of them the main one with optical image stabilization and a Sony sensor, and the other one 50 megapixel ultra-wide with autofocus for your macro needs. 4K 30 frames per second capture, not many options in the camera interface if I'm being totally honest. A quick jump into the photos department will reveal that the captures we took aren't half bad, but at the same time I felt that the colors were a bit cold for my taste. This is a filter, don't worry, it's not that vivid. So these are the colors which we achieved. They feel like an iPhone from a few years ago, back when Apple was trying to show the world they don't always oversaturate the colors. At least there's not a big difference in clarity and color between the main camera and the ultra-wide one. I mean, this is a pragmatical way of approaching pics with the realistic colors, but people may prefer warmer colors instead of the colder ones we got here. The selfies are actually quality ones, even though I feel they're a bit contrasty and remind me of a mid-range OnePlus like the OnePlus Nord CE2 Lite, for example. That's the vibe I'm catching here. Okay, and some nice close-ups, courtesy of the macro camera, which is actually the ultra-wide one. And well, I would say that's about it as a first impression for the camera. It can fight the Samsung Galaxy A53, Motorola Edge 30, but it doesn't fight the Honor 70, which is superior color-wise. I mean, the videos were actually a bit more impressive. As you can see here, the colors are spot on, there's a lot of details, so videos may actually hit the spot if you're buying the phone for, well, videos. As far as the software is concerned, this is actually Android 12 with something called Nothing OS on top of it. There aren't any changes except for the, well, some fonts and icons here and there. Of course, the Glyph interface thing. You can see here this way of using this pixelated approach for the fonts. This is the customization, wallpaper and style, icon packs and so forth. Just a small print that Nothing has placed on the handset. Okay, so far so good. It feels like a pretty solid mid-range phone, but in the end, its rivals are strong. It stands out through the design, and I would say the whole approach with some minor interface changes. And actually, it's pretty close to a Pixel, being so stock in its approach. Now, here we have the other product, the Nothing Ear Stick, the successor to the Nothing Ear 1. Well, not exactly a successor, because they changed the game. They have bigger drivers, and they lack the plugs which are required for proper in-ear insertion. They go with a more techy approach, and as you can see, this revolutionary way of rotating this to prop it open. You can rotate it infinitely. Here you can see the USB-C connector and a button used for pairing. One of them is red and the other one is white. I'm talking about the dot here, obviously. There are no plugs bundled with these ones. As I said before, the drivers are bigger, something like 12.6 millimeters drivers, and improved microphones for cancelling the noise for your vocal calls. Nothing is saying that those are supposed to stay in your ear all day long without any sort of discomfort. Honestly, without having a plug, it's a pretty tough task to meet. And another thing worth mentioning here is that they have a nice transparent techie design, as you can see for the body, which we can see here. The stem is quite interesting and quite nice, I have to admit it. It feels like something out of a sci-fi movie. And of course, sadly, there's no active noise cancelling, but we do have IP54 certification, 7 hours of music, and a total of 29 hours of battery life. Now, if you go to a special app called Nothing X, you can also do a bunch of equalizer tweaks, which is dedicated for the device. You can connect it from here. You got the equalizer here. Custom, balanced, more bass, more treble or voice. You can choose which one you want. We also have the gesture controls, double pinch, triple pinch, pinch and hold, in-ear detection, and a special low lag mode for gaming. Of course, there's Find My earbuds and support for codecs like AAC and SBC. Their support is for Bluetooth 5.2, and after about 10 minutes of charging, you should be treated with 2 hours of music. Okay, so I have to say that the sound given here, well, honestly, the mids are a bit too intense, and they also don't have much bass. They need more separation of the frequencies to properly satisfy me, and depends on your ear format if they're comfy or not. I mean, the design is spot on, but I don't feel they're for everybody. That's something to take note of. The battery life is solid indeed, as they promised, and the charging is quite fast. Plus, this lipstick shaped case is the bomb. So that's it from me. These products are more about design and experience rather than specs. Similar specs have been seen, but Nothing is trying a different approach thanks to Carl Pei's experience with OnePlus. That's it from jsno.com. We'll be back with more soon. Goodbye.